Hey guys, how's it going? Jemi's World is here. Yes, we are here and back with another video. I am here to bring my journey throughout everything I've been going through as far as my personal school journey. I am currently in the process of becoming a fall 1L law student. I am starting August 2025 and I am extremely excited, but I want to give you guys the meat in the middle. Right? I want to give you guys all of the self-study physical books I used and if I recommend them and how I felt about them, and so we can just have some dialogue and give you guys an idea of what you want to use if you A, can't afford a tutor, B, can't afford an online class or in-person class, and you just want to try to see if you can do it yourself with some self-study resources. Make sure you guys, before you continue, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment below if you are new and comment below how you're doing and if you are about to take the Lsat or deciding or debating if you want to go through that path of law school. Write in the comments and let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing is, initially I definitely knew when and why I wanted to go to law school. But when I first got into the whole process, I was just doing my Googles and thinking like, okay, we have to take the Lsat. Cool. I started looking up resources and instantly, as you know, if you do your Googles, you're going to see a lot of companies having sponsored posts on Google showing that they're the best 70+ percentile score if you pay for their resource online, like Power Score, Manhattan Prep, as well as Blueprint. They're definitely going to have those things on your radar to convince you like, well, if I sign up and pay for this, maybe I'll get a 170 and get into my top 14 law school. Yeah, that is not 1,000% guaranteed, and it is a very hefty price. And when I mean hefty, I mean over 1,000 plus an hour for a tutor. If you know that your dream is to go to law school and become an attorney, but you can't afford it, there is other resources out there. And I'm going to be giving you guys the physical books I used to take the Lsat and help me through the process and understanding the logical reasoning as well as reading comprehension sections, and to give me an idea of, okay, is this something I actually want to do? Do I actually want to go to law school? Because this is a whole different like thought process and how your brain is going to shift to this thinking. The Lsat is pretty much giving you an idea of what you're going to expect when you go to law school, as well as giving admissions offices an idea based on your score, which is a scaled score, which is not as accurate to me, but this is what they use to get a basis of where you're at and where you're going to be, and if you can pretty much survive your first year of law school at their school. So I am going to start off with the books that I got first. I took the Lsat in 2023, my first time. I was a little bit under 5 months before I was going to graduate undergrad, and I was like, okay, I can study for the Lsat and have 6 classes for my last semester and pass. No. Definitely the craziest decision of my life. It's either the Lsat or passing. I got a 3.75 in undergrad, but I did not do well in the Lsat. I think a big piece of it was not having the best resources and the best online videos to give me the real deal of what I should get. A lot of videos I would see on YouTube as well as like on these online resources for the Lsat was like super finicky, and I was just like, okay. So I was just buying all these freaking books and I was just so confused, like I don't even know if this is gonna work. And then once I use it, I made that my sole resource. We're gonna go into that book that I'm referring to in 2023 that I used and made my sole resource and made my brain shift to this angle and had me completely confused, and I did a terrible job on the first time taking the Lsat. This book is called Lsat Prep Plus by Kaplan in 2023. This book goes over each section, and I was in the group that still had logical reasoning. So this book includes reading comprehension, logical reasoning. I was in the group that still had logic games or analytical reasoning, if you've heard of that before. And this book includes logic games, logical reasoning, as well as reading comprehension. And one thing I can say about this book that had me confused was how they broke down each step, right? They broke everything down in this book was extremely confusing, and it made me change my way of thinking to where I was less confident in where I was picking for answers when I actually took a practice test. This book literally psyched me out so much to the point where I didn't know whether my answer was right or I was just thinking too hard and picking an answer that I knew wasn't right just because I felt like it was just so much information overload. I didn't even feel like I was just fully prepared at all. It was terrible. This book I will definitely never recommend, or this company, because I feel like they give you a very unrealistic way of learning, especially if you're a person that learns on an essence of a example, a real world example, or like keeping it just like simple and plain, but giving you the full context of what like a topic or something means. Like it'll just go into something that doesn't even make sense to add with that topic, and it just blew my entire mind. It made me think. I was just like stunned and just like, why did I pick this book? Who convinced me? I will definitely never recommend Kaplan ever in life. After that plummet of a score I got in 2023 and just a letdown, I honestly felt at one point that I wasn't even going to decide to take the Lsat again or even go to law school in general. I felt terrible. But something that helped me the most outside of YouTube was TikTok. One thing about TikTok and the reviews and just like the information that is on TikTok for the Lsat helped me tremendously. That's what got me to the book that I actually needed to rewire my brain and understand exactly what each topic and each section meant. This led me to The Loophole. The Loophole is by Elle Cassidy, and honestly, she deserves her flowers. Elle Cassidy's book is so well put together for logical reasoning and logical reasoning alone, to where you really get an idea of what all these separate subsections in logical reasoning are. And she puts it in real world scenarios. And my favorite part in this entire book was how she got actual LSAT students at the end of each section. She made a chapter breather. And the chapter breather was a thing where you read it and you get information from former LSAT students who took the test or LSAT students who have been studying. And they have questions in here and answers to help you along the way through your studying. It was just phenomenal. And literally her practice questions in here were so realistic and just so like, it was just great. It was like a breath of fresh air from Kaplan, like completely. I literally highlighted and wrote through this entire book her ways of like breaking down certain subsections through logical reasoning and how she made these ideas to where you can remember it when you take the test. You'll know based on a question like, oh, this is the type of segment that was in the book. This type of question. Like she makes you remember the key ideas of when you're taking the test. Okay, when you see this, just know this is sufficient. When you see that, just know it's necessary and this is why. And she'll use it in like a real household, real life scenario. And I absolutely highly recommend this. And with that, I also got another resource from, again, all the creators and LSAT takers on YouTube. I definitely want to send kudos and love to everybody out there who took the LSAT, who's giving us like extra gems and information for people who are deciding to in the future. Like 1000% without the internet and the resources there, especially YouTube and like real life people who have took the test and give us their opinions, I wouldn't be where I am today. The next book I decided to pick up with The Loophole, just in case I needed an extra piece of meat, was something that a lot of people online were recommending with the booklet to add with it, is Power Score LSAT Bible for Logical Reasoning. This book is also a highly recommend if you really need a full length basis, like you have never even heard of the LSAT before, and you need something to start you from the beginning just for full understanding and context. Pick up the Bible. That's what they call it, the Bible, period. This is an amazing resource. Again, it gives you a full basis, and make sure you get the Bible that is connected to the year you're going to be taking the LSAT. That is very smart because they might have updated some things and give you some more better tips. I took it in 2024, so I picked up the 2024 one. And I highly recommend PowerScore for their Bibles. They now only have this one in the reading comprehension. For me personally, logical reasoning was way more tricky for me than reading comprehension because I am a heavy reader. So I had a feeling I needed an extra piece of a source to fully understand logical reasoning because it could get kind of tricky. But the PowerScore Bible is a highly recommended one if you need a basis and just understanding of the entire logical reasoning process and just more detail outside the loophole. That's why I got both of them, just in case I needed a little bit more detail while I'm doing the loophole self-study book. And in my 2023 journey, I'm all over the place, but we are still here. When I got Kaplan's book, and it literally blew my mind and destroyed my life for a year, I included Manhattan Prep book of LSAT practice drills with that. This is the 5-pound book. I got this off of eBay. I thought it was going to be a good resource, but honestly, it was not good for me. I feel like it didn't really give me enough detail to fully understand once we got into the practice questions. And on top of that, I'm using Kaplan. Then I jump into this. I would think it would co-connect as far as it being the same type of concepts, but it was not connected at all. And it did not help me like I hoped. I do not recommend this. Don't do it. And the winners out of this LSAT self-study preparation, logical reasoning specifically, I highly recommend L. Kennedy. That's my girl with the loophole and the PowerScore Bible. Highly, highly recommend. If you are not a heavy reader, you do not need to go to law school. And that's just it. But if you don't mind reading a lot and just like highlighting and taking notes and really trying to understand in physical form, I know in law school, like there's statistics that show like it's better to write by hand than typing. That's why I got physical books as well. And on top of that, I'm just a reader and I like having tangible things to hold. I highly recommend these two books. I have a feeling they're still in the market. People are still taking the LSAT. So I highly recommend this one and the Bible with the year that you're going to be taking the LSAT. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. Again, I will be giving you guys some online resources for the LSAT and which ones that I enjoyed using and helped me fully understand the concepts better for the test in another video. So make sure you guys stay locked in and connected, and make sure you hit that subscribe button because there's more content coming soon. And thanks.